It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another Walking Dead video. In this video, we'll be looking at whether Maggie is going to forgive Negan when she returns to the story, and whether we're gonna see a possible team up between these two characters in the future. Now, some of you may be wondering, why would Maggie forgive Negan? Negan killed Glenn, Maggie's husband, and as far as Maggie is concerned, Negan should be in a jail cell. So why would Maggie forgive Negan? Now, one thing I do want to mention, and I've talked about this before, is I strongly believe that Maggie got the closure that she needed back in season 9, episode 5. When she had her one-on-one with Negan and when she confronted Negan. But at the same time, why would she forgive Negan? Why would she be okay with Negan roaming free? And I don't think that she would. But at the same time, people are kind of forgetting the stuff that has happened from the time Maggie left to now when she returns. And the other thing, who knows for sure that Maggie is not aware that Negan has been given more freedom than he had before. Now, I'm not saying that she's aware that he's completely free, but before he was actually released from the cell, after he went to the Whisperers camp and came back, he did have more freedom than he had before. And we do know that Maggie communicated with the survivors using letters. So I'm sure that they may have told her about certain stuff happening with Negan. So it's not like she's not aware of anything going on with Negan. So I'm sure that people have told her about what's going on with Negan and the fact that he's helping out and all of that. More importantly is the fact that Negan was a significant part of why the Whisperers are going to be defeated. Let's backtrack here a little bit. When Maggie comes back, she's going to have a lot to catch up on. She's going to learn that Jesus is dead. She's going to learn that Tara is dead. And she's going to learn that Enid is dead. And of course, the other people that died after she left. But I chose these three specifically because they were extremely close to Maggie. Jesus was the reason Maggie became leader of Hilltop. Enid was sort of like Maggie's daughter. She was extremely close to Maggie. Tara and Maggie have the longest running relationship, or had, before she died, because they knew each other from the prison story arc. Maggie's gonna have a hard time dealing with all of those three big deaths. It's gonna hurt her pretty hard. And to make things more interesting, all of those deaths were done by the Whisperers. The Whisperers and Alpha are responsible for all of those deaths. So with all of that said, when Maggie comes back and learns that Negan single-handedly killed Alpha, the person who was responsible for some of her closest friends and family getting killed in a brutal fashion, she might actually rethink what she thinks of Negan. The other part of it as well is Carol. We know that Carol was actually the one who was writing letters to Maggie, and she was the one that told Maggie about the Whisperers. So out of everyone, Maggie's going to be most comfortable talking to Carol and Daryl about the situation and what's been happening. We know that Daryl and Negan have kind of learned to get along, but also at the same time, it was Carol who let Negan out to take care of the Whisperers. So I'm sure when the time comes, both Daryl and Carol are going to vouch for Negan, not for Maggie to forgive him, but for Maggie to understand that Negan can be an asset to the survivors, and he could do things that maybe not everyone is comfortable doing, and maybe they need to get along in order for the communities to thrive. Now, the question of whether Maggie and Negan are actually going to team up in the future, that remains to be seen, but I think, at least for the time being, with the Whisperers and all of that, Maggie is not gonna want to jump into punishing Negan or anything like that. If anything, it might be beneficial for her if Negan sticks around for a little bit. But then after the Whisperers arc is over, that's when we might actually see those two butt heads again and something to happen between them. Not that Maggie's gonna want to kill Negan or anything like that, but I do see a situation where there's going to be lots of disagreements between them in the future because there's still that animosity between them. But I think in the short term, they may actually need to learn to get along. Maggie specifically. So I'm very, very excited and interested to see what they're going to do with Maggie and Negan in the future and where that whole thing is going to go. But I am interested to know everyone's thoughts and opinions as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.